Let's focus now. Politics and diplomacy going hand in hand as Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky sit down for a meeting. About 30 minutes ago, the two leaders met at Trump Tower in Manhattan, and it comes as the White House hopeful has criticized the Ukrainian president for what he calls as a quote-unquote failure to end the war. We are still awaiting some details from the meeting, but those are the visuals that we have received just moments back. What's also important to understand here is that this meeting comes as just days back, Donald Trump, the former US president and the presidential hopeful for the Republican Party this time, has said, and I'm quoting, "Ukraine is demolished, its people are dead. The President Volodymyr Zelensky should have made concessions to Russian president." And to get us the latest, our correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us live from New York to get us the latest. Susan, good to see you. Just earlier today, I was speaking to some expert from Kiev, and he made a very important point there. He said that as significant as this visit already is, it's also more significant because it comes just 40 days ahead of the US election. This is something Volodymyr Zelensky understands. What is your thought on that?
Absolutely, he does. And that's why he's meeting with President Trump, because there's a likelihood that it's going to either be him or Kamala Harris. And they met with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden yesterday. They had a few words before the cameras and before that meeting, sort of talking to reporters very informally. And President Trump said that me and Zelensky both agree that the war needs to be stopped. When asked what kind of expectations you have of this meeting, Donald Trump said, "I have no expectations, but I do know that while we may have our differences, we're on the same page that this war needs to stop." And, we see the images and the visuals and the mannerism, really Zelensky and Trump both, because they have this history that they haven't always been on the same page. They were being very cautious together prior to this meeting speaking. Zelensky says that he wants to offer Trump a peace plan. Trump says that he's looking forward to learning more what's happening on the ground from Zelensky, because remember, he's a former president. He's not getting those security briefings, intelligence briefings anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how much Zelensky fills him in, and whether or not, Donald Trump will sort of have a change of heart on how he wants to proceed and end this war, as he's mentioned.
Absolutely, and it's not just Ukrainian president. Of course, they are in New York for the UNGA meeting, but so many of the foreign leaders have actually sat down with Donald Trump. Is this a testament that the foreign leaders are taking notice of how close the election is?
Oh, absolutely. And how close it is and how different these two candidates' approaches to foreign policy is going to be moving forward. So there is a likelihood that it's going to be either of them. So they want to have all of their paths covered moving forward.
All right, Susan, thank you so much for getting us those updates. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.